Guys, welcome back. What is going on? How are you doing? Sound Design Hangout. We hang out, we design sounds, we talk about the whys, the whos, the whats, the ifs, the wheres, everything you need to know. Today we're going to do Collision. As you can see, Collision is open here. So if you're going to follow along, and I would honestly, and to be honest with you, what is this, number 50? I don't think I've ever said, hey guys, why don't you feel free to open up Ableton and follow along. Why would I have never said that? I don't know, maybe it's because I try not to be pushy. We all have enough of people pushing us all the time. I'm sure you can agree. So, Collision. Why do I want to do Collision? And in fact, I don't know if you knew this, but if you do Command-Shift-T on a Mac, that's open up a MIDI track, the hotkey, just Command-T would be an audio track. So for PC, I don't know what's if it's not Command, it's maybe Control. I don't know. You probably should know. You probably do. So in any event, before I get into why we're going to do Collision today, the inspiration that is basically the genesis of this particular SDHO was because I was listening to, I was supposed to have my crystal singing bowl. You know the bowls? We go, doon, 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 you know, I wanted to recreate that. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to recreate that. And I'll actually play it for you. I know I've got some somewhere. Hey guys, what is going on? This is where you can support me. OpenSea, it's an NFT marketplace. This is all my art. Does this look familiar to you? These are the thumbnails. You can own this art. So SDHO 43, SDHO 43. How exciting. And then you own this art, and then for the rest of your life, you'll say, I own SDHO 43. I supported that wonderful young man who's not, I'm an old man. Support an old man. How about that? Now back to the show. Sounds. This folder I downloaded, Crystal Singing Bowls. Nope, not that. Okay, here we go. So this is an audio clip, and I'm gonna just do this just so I can move around here. So this is what it sounds like. And now this, listen to this. It's like this kind of a sound, but I want you to hear the woo 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 woo, because I want to do the woo woo woo. Let's see, is it over here? Can this give me a woo woo woo? By the way, you could search for this. It's basically this. So yeah, if you type this in, you'll probably be able to, like, just do Casper Singing Bowls in Google, and I downloaded it easily. I don't download a lot of things from the internet because I don't want to just do a Google search and like find a thing and it's like, click here, download. Like, I don't do that for whatever reason. The way this was presented, I don't know if it was through like Bandcamp or Gumroad or some sort of site. So I was like, okay. But in any event, like when you see this thing, this is actually kind of what it looks like. And so basically, and so that's what's really important is we want to kind of know what we want our sound to do. So whether we nail this sound in whatever instrument we choose to use, whatever synthesis method we choose to use, if we know what we want the sound to do, it helps us just narrow it down rather than, oh, here's a sound, let's just play around forever until we eventually find it. Like, no, let's break it down so then we can put it back together. Not put it back together, just create it in something cool. So it's kind of like this sound. Ouch. It's very loud. I don't want to search anymore for these. I think you know what I mean. A lot of this ones we've heard so far, it's kind of just hitting these bowls. By the way, you just hit these bowls. They're either made out of like a crystal singing bowls, or they're Tibetan bowls. That's just, if you're in the spiritual community, you've probably heard about them. And they're mostly called, you got the class of crystal singing bowls and then Tibetan singing bowls. The Tibetan singing bowls are more metallic, and so they sound different, and you can play them at the same time. If you've never heard of a sound bath, and the reason why I'm doing that is because that means like, oh, that's the key that you would like type on to the internet to like research. So it's called a sound bath. I would venture to guess there's sound baths in the towns where you guys live, whether you're in the US or you're really anywhere. And even if you're like walking around your town and you saw like a thing that was like sound bath over at blah, 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 now you're like, oh, that's what it is. And so it's in these sound baths, they're not just crystal singing bowls, they're not just the Tibetan singing bowls, but they're also gongs. And like these gongs, when you hit these gongs, like huge gongs, they like vibrate at like the vibration of the planet is apparently like 7 hertz. And so like, think about it. If the planet Earth like vibrates at a certain frequency, and then they're hitting gongs that vibrate at that frequency, and we're made out of energy just like the planet, and then we vibrate back, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're tuning your body's vessel. Everything's energy, you know? And apparently, in the way ancient past, and then in the future that we are now headed to, pretty much everything's going to be solved by vibration and frequency. It's like, what ails you? You know, and they'll be like, okay, this ails him. It's this energy. And they're like, okay, what's the energy we need to provide? Okay, we need 157 hertz. And then we're going to play that, and then it heals you. And we're going to be there soon, guys. So keep your heads up, whether you're a young person, middle-aged person, old person, or if you're all three of them in one, smash a like, buy an NFT to support me. Let's keep it going and flowing. So yeah, this is what it sounds like. Literally, you can just hit it once and it will give you this whole trail. But not only can you hit it, but you can circle around it, and that's when you really start building it up. So where does that leave us? Well, I was listening to it and I was like, wow, I really like the way these sound. And you know, that's why I've got some of these samples, is because this isn't something you just open up a subtractive synthesizer and slap a saw wave and somehow come up with this sound. No, like, you need resonators. And at first, I got this weird, goofy idea to start and do it in Operator, using something really interesting in Operator. We're going to get to Collision. You know, something tells me if you came here for Collision, stick around because you're about to get Operator. I hope I didn't screw that up. Anyways, I'm just going to delete this because I don't need this here. And I'm going to go really quick. And initially, Operator popped in my head because there's something really cool, and it really demonstrates the weirdness you can get with FM, even though FM and subtractive synthesis are very predictable. But it's kind of like a weird thing you get here. So I'm going to... so first I thought to do it with... Operator. And if you guys actually are able to figure out how to use it this way and figure it out, let me know. But I'm going to go really quick because even though this doesn't give the sound, this is what my first instinct was. So that maybe means, because this is all connected, I know I ramble and I talk a lot, but I promise if you stay with me, which I know you guys do stay with me, you'll learn a lot. We get there. I'm a talker. Maybe I talk too much. I don't know. My sun is in Gemini. And my Mercury is in Gemini, which means I'm like super Gemini, which is all about talking. The planet Mercury does rule Gemini, but Mercury, that planet, also happened to be up in the skies when I was born. So it's like I'm like super Gemini, which, let me tell you, is not actually a good thing. It's a gift and a curse. Boy, I'm gonna be saying everything like that from now on. Boy, you English folks have a beautiful accent, I will tell you. You already knew it. Us Americans, we talk like choppy, like going to the mall today, going to buy a sweater. I am boring. After my sweater, I may go sit down, eat a Cinnabon, and then open up my phone, look at it, and then start crying. Oh, jeez, how did it get this way? At least I bought a sweater. You'll never take my sweater away from me. I don't know where that came from. I don't even know why he cares that much about his sweater. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to hit a note in operator. Now, we're going to take it off collision, put it on operator. And we might as well have a spectrum on here so you can see what's going on. You knew it. So here's the interesting thing. You can get all those nice FM sounds, but then you got these little ones here. So take a look. Right now, it says I'm playing an E. I don't know why it's not on pitch. This is actually, it's because it's 432. Yours is probably going to be 440. So here we go. Okay, so it's a C. Wonderful. It's a C. And so what happens is if you take this course and you move it up, it's another C. Now it's a G because it's the fifth. Now it's back to C because that's the fourth. And this E is slightly off for who the heck knows what reason. It's going up the harmonic series. And by the way, I'm just going to shift this whole thing down in octave. So again, nothing too crazy. But here is where we get some of the weirder tones, because FM synthesis, and again, this is informative, so please stay with me here. We'll get to collision, and we don't discriminate here based on, if you're like, well, actually, I wanted you to be playing with operator a lot more. I didn't even want collision. I had a bad experience with collision. My wife left me over collision. I am done with it. Well, sir, okay, we're doing operator, then we're getting back to collision. So here we go. But take a look at this. So we've got our C note, but look at when I play with the fine. Look at how we're off tune. Look at how we keep moving this up, right? Now, it doesn't sound that crazy right now, right? But look what happens when we start getting into the FM realm, because FM is known for being able to make these really weird metallic sounds. And so, for instance, if we start bringing up level B, you can really see it when when you do this FM modulation, it'll stay, on pitch. But when you go really high, you'll start getting weird sounds. You'll start getting off pitch. So look at the tuner down there, and also look at whatever you want. You can look at the spectrum if you want. It's fine. But it stayed on C. But let's see what happens when I go to this fine tuning, okay? See, it gets weird. And it's not a C. I guess it's still a C. And you can play with this stuff. And it's really crazy, really nuts, way too loud. But let's see what happens when we bring down this envelope. Actually, it is staying in pitch. This is quite remarkable. Let's see. I'm going to hit the max here. Yeah, it stayed in pitch. So, yeah. I thought maybe we would get a certain sound like... Maybe we would... Oh, no, it would have to be up. Man, maybe it does it. Maybe it does it. But it's really hurting my ears. I'm going to take these frequencies down. That's why you always need a filter frequency, regardless of what you're using. We'll move on to collision. Don't worry, because maybe we're doing something here. Maybe it's only happening because you're watching me, even though you're in the future, because time doesn't exist and everything is resonance and energetic. Everything's consciousness, energy's consciousness. Maybe someone's giving me advice. Maybe that's why I wasn't able to do it last time, but now I'm able to. Okay, let's map this to this level. Kind of sounds a little bit like it. See how it's a little bit metallic-y? Now let's play with this fine tune a little bit. Let's play with this chorus. Let's lower it. Wow, I guess we can... Maybe operator, because it's metallic-y, maybe it does a better job doing metallic-y bowls. Well, We got to give more release. Always pay attention to the release. If it sounds weird after you hit a note, play around with the release, even on the filter frequency, but we don't have a filter envelope enacted. We're just using this to cut these out because these are a little bit too bright for us. So let's play with this fine tune. I'm going to minimize this. I want to see where we're going with this tuner because it doesn't need to necessarily always be in pitch, but if your song is clearly in like F minor and you're hitting notes that are like not really F, you know, like A, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know, like, instead of A, it's A sharp. Well, then it won't be tonal. So I think you do want to play around with fine tune. Coarse keeps it in tune. It just goes up the harmonic series. But fine. So like right now, this is like F. But now it's moving around. Okay, but let's see. What if we put it up? It almost kind of has like a, you know what I mean? Like, and so maybe what we would want to do is we would want to come in here, and I think we want this guy. Why would we want this guy? Well, because B is doing its own independent thing to A, and then I want a completely distinct sound that is not concerned with B, and I want C to maybe be like a longer drawn out one, and then that has its own effect on A. See how this is like this? This means B does its own thing with A, C does its own thing with A, and D does its own thing with A, and so that's why I chose it. We'll be moving on soon, but I think we're in the groove right now with this. Yikes. Maybe, so this is we're fading in we're fading it in. Sounds a little bit too aggressive. Let's move this up. Too aggressive. You know what? I'm done with this. Done with it, because I didn't think we were going to get anywhere close, but because we did, I think we can mess around with it more. So what would I do to get more of that sound? I might drop like a corpus because we want more of a resonator thing. Maybe get like a reverb because, of course, you want it to sound like it's in a 3D acoustic space, even if it's not. Now, we're going to be moving on to collision now because collision basically is corpus. But so what happened? I wanted to do those bowls, and I said, boy, I was like, I shouldn't just tell myself that I'm not able to make a crystal bowl or one of those Tibetan singing bowl sounds because they're made up of a lot of sounds and they're very complex, but also like they don't sound like synthesizers, you know what I mean? And you could say, well, you know, collision doesn't really sound like a synthesizer, and you're right, but I think you know what I mean. So first I was like, oh, I'll use that like weird trick in FM synth. It's not a trick, but like, you know, inherent to FM, an FM synth where you can get those metal sounds, and if I can make it oscillate like I did, maybe I could get that sound. And I think we can. I think more of the Tibetan singing bowl, but I want to use collision to get more of that like cleaner crystal singing bowl thing. So I'm actually just going to delete this whole thing. Why? Because if I did want to come back, I would rather tweak one from the beginning versus use what I was just using. You know what I mean? Almost like it's solidifying and locking in what you're trying to do. So we're going to record enable this, of course. And we're going to use collision. This should be the default collision. I don't think I saved any default presets. If you do say like every time I use collision or device and I want it to be the same all the time, I don't want their default. You just right click and then do save as default preset. So I'm just going to delete it, come into instruments, add a fresh collision, and this is what it should look like. I'm going to take a quick drink of water and notice that resonator 1 is on. It has to be on, so I'm playing notes. Nothing's happening. Now I do resonator 1. And I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to probably need to use resonator 2. That's why it's turned off, it's turned on. It's normally turned off because it's only if you need it. I think we're going to need it, and I think we're going to need noise as well. Why collision and why collision today? Wanted to make the singing bowl sound, thought I could do it on operator, failed miserably. And then I said, well, how the hell would I do it? And that's when I was like, collision. And that's when I said, because I'm interested and because collision, I think we haven't done, is like one of the main Ableton synths that we haven't covered in a while. I was like, oh, that means that we have to do it. So why collision? Collision because of resonators. And it has like a very resonator sound. Because think about it, when you hit that thing, it just resonates and it gives a sound. When you're moving that around, it's resonating. It's like doing that thing. Now, what sort of resonator can we use to get this? Well, I'm not going to start at string, because even if string gives the sound we want, I'm not going to start there. Membrane, that kind of sounds more like you're hitting like a bongo drum or something with a stick. It's like I don't want to start there. Bean and marimba have unusual sounds that are kind of pitched, and like, I think we may start there. Plate gives interesting sounds. Pipe and tube can sometimes sound not what we're looking for, but we'll play around with it. What I like to do is I like to play in a little range, almost play the same note every time when I'm designing, like hit notes. And then I jump around octaves, because sometimes you jump around octaves, you'll hear the sound that you're looking for, and because you could be wanting to make a thing, but you're playing in the wrong octave. And so the easiest way for that, unless you're on like a huge keyboard and then you're doing your sound design, and you can play any octave. I'm just playing on my like computer laptop keyboard. A good way for me to do that, and perhaps for you, just shift down. I want it to be a little bit higher pitched. Since we're doing sound design, you should probably always have a spectrum open. I'm gonna close these. And so I want to get a sound that like, so I'm trying to figure out, and I might as well drop an LFO anyway, because we're going to be getting to that soon. It's like, what's going to give me that? Like, what do I need to like whoop, what do I need to whoop? Because with those singing bowls, I really feel like the volume is doing that. And if it's just simple volume automation, because if it was pitch, it would be like, you know what I mean? And like that would sound horrible. That's not putting us in some higher energetically balanced, higher dimensional frequency state. It's probably not doing that. So it could maybe be the filter frequencies. Let's just start going here. And I'm not going to start with beam. I'm going to start with marimba. It's very similar. And so I want to hold it down, and I want it to just keep playing. Right now, if I'm holding it down, nothing happens. So I have to hold out the decay. So we're going to move decay. By the way, I also have to let you know that it's very possible that I will not be able to create this sound. And that was also kind of part of the point, was I wanted you guys to see me probably not, because I don't want to like forecast the future that I didn't do it, but like I want you to see me like the thought process, like, okay, I'm going to be tweaking this now because I wanted to do this. Oh, it didn't do this. So now I'm going to do this. And so maybe that helps you understand the device. Because if I just open it up and I'm like, put this to -3, put this to -4, you're not really learning. And those tutorials are terrible. I never do that. Smash a like for that. I want to add noise because there's inherently noise when that happens. Okay, so we're longer now. So now let's get material. Maybe here, these positions, they're giving it a width. So like position left, position right, where it gets hit. I don't like the defaults. I kind of like to bring them closer to 50, but that's up to you. We have to make the decay longer because we want it to hold. And this actually might be a bad way for it. If we can't hold it and get the length we want, because sometimes if you jack decay all the way up, it will resonate so much that you'll clip. So like let's play this one, like max it all out, and it might kill our ears. Here, whoa. Okay, so how can we do a little bit of whoa? Pitch envelope. No, I don't think we want pitch envelope because we're not really trying to get a big punchy punch. I'll lower the decay a little bit. It's really nice because I just hit it and it decays. There's really no way to hold it down and have it sustain indefinitely. If we turn off noise, does anything different happen? You have to really jack up noise. It's a little bit too metallic-y, so what if we were to go to beam? Does that change at all for us? Still metallic-y. It's giving more of like a metallic sound, so we don't want beam or marimba. Let's play around a little bit. What about string? Hey, if string gives us what we want, I don't care if it's a string. I don't care if it's like rhino. You're like, what is rhinoceros? No, if it gives us the sound we want, we will use it. Let's see what string gives us now. String is not my favorite. Membrane. That's more of a metallic-y sound, so no. Let's just play with the material really quickly. It's going to give us a gong sound. It's metallic-y. I don't want it. Let's go down. Plate. Again, it's metallic-y. Let's play with the ratio. Yeah, not doing what I want. Nope. Not plate. I guess it's either going to be pipe or tube. And no, I did not do any preparation for this. Here's the thing, guys. This is why you definitely need to smash the like. Definitely consider buying an NFT to support me. I honestly only use Ableton when I make these. Now you might say, "You're a fraud. You said you've been using Ableton for 10 years. That's crazy. What is your problem? How could you lie to us, Gemini? How could you?" I'm not lying. I started making these videos in February, regularly in February of 2022. Now it is March 2023. If I wasn't making these, then I probably wouldn't have been using it because I've just been interested in other things. But because I'm making these for you guys, it's now making me keep using it. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Smash a like on all of your own, like, I don't know, like, smash a like on your own self, however that looks to you. So we're down to pipe and tube. And no, I'm not going to like surprise, hey, we figured it out. All of these sound very metallic-y. So hopefully pipe and tube come through for us. Oh, jeez, we need all the decay we can get. I'm gonna put up the pitch. No. We might be out of luck, to be honest with you. I need some... I'm gonna minimize this LFO, and I'm gonna drop a auto pan. I'm going to turn up the amount. See the orange and the yellow? That's left and right. But if you turn up the phase, either way you want, that's just volume oscillating at a rate of 1 hertz at this amount. Let's do faster rate. The deeper the whoobs, the more the amount. This sounds awful because it sounds too dry. Let's play with this opening amount. Doesn't sound like a crystal singing bowl. Let's play with this mallet, but the mallet, see, like this section, it just has to do with the attack. You know what I mean? It has to do with the attack. The resonator is what's going to carry it out. I'm really scared to click this because sometimes when you click some of these extra resonators or click things off, it gets these massive volume spikes that completely like hurt your ears. Like weird things happen. So unless you play with this a lot. Okay, so I just activated resonator. Actually, no, we're not going to do resonator 2 yet because we haven't given tube its proper time yet. This isn't doing it for me. It actually sounds really, really bad. Very bad. No. It sounds, and to be honest, it sounds too synthesizer-y, to be honest with you. Okay, let's go to tube. Again, this is mostly just like the start. Like, think about the mallet. The mallet hits. That's it. It's only decaying because we have this here. Why don't we go back up to beam? Again, it's good, but it sounds very metallic-y. Well, hey, by the way, game over. Hangout over. No, the hangout isn't over, you silly gooses. It's not. Why? Because we basically did what we wanted to do. I wanted to get a singing bowl sound. And to be honest with you, yeah, we can use operator in a very FM way to get that sound. We need to tweak it a little bit more, so let me know your creations. I don't know how you would let me know of it so I could hear it. Collision, we can get the metallic-y bowl, but can we get the crystal-y bowl? And what does that mean? And might there be an easier way to get... Now, listen to what this sounds like if we turn off auto pan. Hear it? Just... But listen to when we do auto pan. Now, that might be too much, so play at the rate. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, let's put the phase. Now you get us here going across. Maybe that might be good for meditation because you can figure out what sort of rate going back and forth. But it can't be too big. Like, it can't be this amount. Because now it's going like extreme, extreme, and then it's hurting yourself. And you wouldn't want to do that. Oh my God, it went right to the 3, 3, 3. Oh, and then another 3, and then another 3. Guys, are we really leaving the third-dimensional frequency matrix and going to the 5D multi-dimensional consciousness? And let's get back to the show. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's go to marimba. Now listen how it changes. You turn off auto pan. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. To be honest, all of these sound like some sort of metallic-y... Well, let's go to membrane. Go back to string. String is like, you made fun of me last time, but I wasn't ready. And some may say, you weren't ready either. But now you came back to string, and I'm going to show everyone that you should not sleep on string because we've been getting information to the devs at Ableton that people are using collision a lot, and that's a really good thing. But we've also found out that people use every resonator besides string because there's this guy, this Gemini guy. By the way, I don't call myself Gemini. That's just the name of the channel. It's been around probably longer than a lot of you are even old. String is ready for a renaissance. Let's go, guys. Will string redeem itself? Sounds good, but let's see what it sounds like pitched down. Sounds good. Why does it sound good? Why does it sound good? Well, first of all, we needed the auto pan. I think a really big thing is the thing that really oscillates. The older me was like, oh, well, you're always modulating the filter frequency. You couldn't do pitch. You know, no one automates volume. No, you do want to automate volume. Even if you have a pad, you know, like a big flowing chord or drone, and it's beautiful, and there's so much modulation on it, and it sounds so good. We're not, but like every sound is the same volume, unless you have like a volume contour, and the sound of the volume's always the same, but we never hear sounds in our environment where the volume is like always the same. It'll like move a little bit. So like you can just add just a little bit of volume modulation that no one would even know you were doing, but it just gives an extra bit of realism because you don't hear sounds that are always like the same volume all the time over time. So you can do that, or you don't have to do that. But let's keep moving on. And so this volume oscillation that we got with the auto pan, which we could duplicate this, keep it left and right, but then have another one where we're just... Now also keep in mind, we don't even have any reverb on this. What might happen if we put, well, probably not a lot because it rings out so much, but like let's put an acoustic space on this. Let's see if it... Sometimes it's good to take out some highs from the reverb. Here, you can hear... Okay, something's happening here. It still sounds metallic-y. Listen to that. Random, because we're all very random. Sounds like it might be Christmas time. It is always Christmas time where I'm from. There is never any coal anywhere, not even the presents, but there is a lot of vodka. Sounds wonderful, wonderful. Let's get this ratio up. Let's ratio it. Whoa! No. No, too metallic-y. Let's do this in harmonics. Still metallic-y. Still too bloody metallic-y. I'm not going to mess with the second resonator. I'm going to pitch it down just a few semitones. I could do it right here, but I'd rather just do it right here, see if this does anything. I like this one because I got an idea, guys. Let's play this material. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, if you hit the thing, it kind of does sound like this. Just the attack, or what I think it's actually called the impact. The impact, and then like the tail, or whatever, like the impact. But I want to hold it down. That's why I put down the decay. Let's actually put down the decay a little bit more. Maybe. Right, click on it, Command G, I'm assuming Control G on a PC. Collision. So now we're getting into the instrument racks. Create chain, 2 chains. And now, what if our crystal singing bowl is actually to get the sound of the woo. Maybe if getting that, we didn't need any fancy physical modeling resonator-based synthesizers. We didn't need any freaky deaky FM synthesis, metallic, off-pitch, crazy, inharmonic, sound splattering, battering. We actually didn't need any of that. We actually just needed the most simplistic thing known to man. We just needed a sine wave. Or did we? I have no idea, but we could be right. So let's check it. Now I'm going to turn this off here. We're going to mute our collision because that's just going to be our attack. In fact, I'm going to call it, not attack, because a lot of times when you hear attack, you think like faded, and let's call it impact. Impact. Whatever, impact collision, because I want, you know, to know that the collision was there. And we'll call this bowl. Just call it bowl. Okay, so we don't have to do anything. We're already on sine wave. So what do we need? Well, we're going to need a release. I'm going to... Now, notice that sine wave sounds good. Someone out there's like, I didn't know that sound wave sounded that good. Maybe I'll start using more sine waves. Well, as you know, we're in an instrument rack. So anything that is impacting collision, such as the auto pan, the hybrid reverb. Let's crank out the decay. And actually, let's go in here. We'll leave it there. I was going to cut out some lows. The default hybrid reverb sounds good. It gives it that very cavernous, convolution-y reverb sound. What we need is... Oh, that doesn't sound like it. We're going to put this on fixed so we can choose our frequency. I'm going to take this auto pan and I'm going to drag it in. Now it's only affecting the bowl because I don't need the collision to whoop. I don't need it to volume whoop. Why? Because this sound... I just want the impact. And in fact, I probably shouldn't have this much reverb, but I'm just going to leave it because I just want that extra floating around. We could take care of it later if we really needed to. So now let's go to our bowl. So we don't need this guy to whoop because we just want that, okay? What note are we even playing over here? See, and notice how the auto pan is nowhere to be found. It's because it's not on this chain anymore. But I do want to... Where is this? Hertz. No, we didn't want that one. What did we want? We wanted this one. See how it's like very staticky? What is that? What all that stuff. I think it's like... It's a B note. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll figure out, we'll make it sound good, because we can move this thing. $206. Too fast. Turn down the rate. Wait a second. No, I'm going to turn it off fixed. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got. All right, I'll let you hippies in on a little secret. Normally, you'll kind of like, imagine there's this bowl here. You'll be like, oh, that means we got to get a lot of release. Let's see what happens when we jack the release up on our bowl. Does it whoop? Well, it has to whoop because it's whooping because of this auto pan. We love the whoop. Okay, maybe we need a little bit more amount. Oh, I forgot. Letting you hippies in on a little section. Let me go like... I need more whoop. Okay, can I add something to this? I think we need more. Lower this volume a little bit. Okay, what if we played it transpose it down? Listen, see, volume, this is volume. When it goes up and down, that is the volume. If it goes left and right, that is the pitch. But we're not doing the pitch, see? Someone was like, hey, I was just watching because what you were doing was interesting and I like you, but now I'm realizing that I came for this. By the way, it sounds so cavernous because we have the reverb. The reverb is here, okay? If you close down the instrument rack, you will notice these all are come after, which means they process everything after this instrument rack, but in these individual chains, we can have different things, like this collision. Maybe I want it extra punchy, so I would drop a compressor, whatever. I don't need to beef it up. I don't want to get off task. So anyways, I think we kind of figured it out. I mean, we created a, like an easy, good metallic crystal bowl, which we can do with Operator, and you'll probably do a better job of me on that. And then we can also, I don't know why it keeps raising in volume like that. And we can play it up and down the keyboard. I love it. Now, if we turn hybrid reverb off, come down here. We did it. Guys, I don't know how we did it. Now someone's going to be like, that don't sound like me bowls, mate. And I'll be like, we're not trying to sound like your bowls. Ooh, that sounded weird. We're not trying to sound like your bowls. We're trying to sound like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you guys probably followed along and probably made it sound perfect. But what is perfect? What is perfect? Perfect is being yourself in every way. That's actually true. I just wanted to say that in a funny way. So yeah, that's really it, my friends. And if you want to like take it further or not further, or just want some added, practice, some added nuggets, drop a MIDI track and just drop anything. Just drop anything with like a sine wave and fit it to your likings. All you really need is a sine wave. And then, drop the chorus and then get what you want, get what you need. Because you can, remember on Collision, like we could never hold it down and get continuous. We could only hit it and then like add a really long decay. Well, with this, we can hold it and it plays. Why? Because since we're in A right here, see sustain has to be up, which means as long as you hold that note down for, you're going to get it all the way up there. So that's something to know. You will get better at that. I'm going to delete this because I like it all clean and clear cut. We only needed one and it was great. And okay, someone was like, I'm having anxiety right now because I need to be able to play this every time. Well, here's what you do. See how we're an instrument rack? This is an instrument rack. Why is it an instrument rack? Because we have two different synthesizers. We've got an operator, we've got a collision. Also, by the way, guys, future of sound design is stacking synths like that. And that's what I wanted to do. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of it. I'm also gonna be doing a lot more of the wavetable. Wavetable is just too ridiculously good. Hopefully you really enjoyed all of the wavetable as much as I did making it. And so instrument rack, rename it, Command R or Control R, I'm assuming on a PC, and let's just call it Singing Bowl, and then you hit this thing here, this floppy disk, universal for save. And what does it do? It takes you to user library. Look at all, these are all things I've designed over the years, all in instrument racks. So presets, instrument rack, and then you just basically click return if that's what you want to call it. Singing bowl. I'll click return, and now here is where it is. Drop it there. It's now here, and you save those presets. So that is it, guys. 11111111. Did you see it up there? We're going to the higher dimensions. If you enjoyed this, smash. By the way, if you're gonna be sitting here for an hour, you know what I mean, that's not smashing a like or subscribing. Definitely do so. Turn on the notifications and support me. I don't do a Patreon because I just don't care. I'd rather be like, hey, I've got NFTs up, do that. Why? Because I'm an artist as well. In fact, I think one of the next SDHOs is I'm gonna just build something really cool. I think I'm gonna build like an NPC, show you how you can build that in 3D. And if there's enough interest, I think we're starting a community here. People are gonna wanna know, or not just gonna wanna know how to do Ableton, people are gonna wanna know how to make their own 3D art, digital art, you know what I mean? And if you're not like a Photoshop extraordinaire, if you're not like an After Effects extraordinaire, which those aren't 3D, they mimic 3D. If you want to do an actual 3D program where you're actually creating the polygons and then creating this whole virtual world, and you're doing that for your thumbnails, and nothing against just like Photoshop, After Effects, but if you really want to take it further, I can teach that. And you might be saying, hey man, you know, I don't have any more money. I got Ableton. Well, by the way, the best program in the world for 3D computer graphics art and 2D computer graphics art, so you can bring your 2D creations to life and do so much more. It's free, okay? No one's paying me to do any of this, to say any of this. In fact, no one's paying me at all. So then go get an NFT, support me, learn the future of the currency. You know, crypto's cool because you actually like hold possession of your crypto in like crypto wallets, you know, and you like log on to sites, whether it's like DeFi, whether it's NFTs, whether it's gaming even, play to earn. What you know about the play to earn? Yeah, NFTs are cool. You might hear like, oh, they're all scams, but to be honest, when NFTs basically first broke on the scene, it was really just artists, digital artists that now had a means to support themselves. Because before, who wanted to buy digital art? You know, the whole thing was like, why do I want to buy, you know, Beeple Crap's piece of digital art when he can, you know, you can just do, command copy paste and have a million of them. And it's like, well, with blockchain technology, you actually mint it on the blockchain, so it's a one of one. And you know, so it's being able to show digital verifiability, non-fungible token, and it's basically a great way to support artists. So if you're like, dude, this guy's art sucks, which I think you like it. It's the thumbnails, man. It's the thumbnails. You know, and so you would be able to say, oh, I own this guy's, I own the artwork for SDHO 33. I also provide other unlockable content, and as we get further and further into this amazing metaverse-y future, which is going to have nothing to do with Facebook, I'll tell you that, nothing to do with Meta, you know, because it's all about us, you know what I mean? But hopefully not dystopian like Ready Player One or whatever, but that kind of gives you a bit of an idea. You own all of your content, you know, you own all of your digital content, digital wearables. If you guys are gamers, you own all this stuff in the game. So if you're playing, I don't know, whatever the games you guys play, Roblox, Fortnite, all that stuff, you've got like digital avatars and the skins and the weapons and all of that will be yours. You'll actually own them, and you'll be able to like sell them on like the NFT marketplaces. And so it's really crazy because you could be this gamer who, you know, has all of this stuff, and now you can like sell it, you know, like you're like, my parents have no idea I'm the best Roblox blah 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 player in the world, you know, they're trying to kick me out of here. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can sell all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're like, get out of the house, Jimmy, you won't get a real job, you're just playing Roblox and melting your brain, you know. And then you're like, oh, they just got it all on the blockchain. I sold all of me NFTs, all of me digital wearables, all of my avatars for 100,000 quid, and I'm moving out of the house, and I'm actually gonna buy your house, mom and dad, sell it, and then make you go live in an apartment down the Sprock in Southampton. I don't know where all this is coming from. Support me in any way you can, even if it's dropping a comment and you're like, I really like you, Gemini, but you need to get yourself some help, buddy. You need to get yourself some help. All right, guys. Chonky. No, don't. No, everyone's missing your turns. Okay, run around in a circle again. He did about like 6 doggy turns where he runs in a circle. Chonky, what do you want, Chonky? What do you want, Chonky? We got 1 turn. What do you expect? Is he gonna do the yawn thing? Well, you're just like clockwork. High five. High five. Oh, good boy. You want a kiwi. You want a kiwi. It's time for lunchy. It's time for the lunchy poopa chonky. All right, guys. Thank you. Take care.